Japan, a land of breathtaking beauty. At least for you as a tourist. But ask a Japanese salaryman and he'll paint you a completely different picture. Why is that? What is his working life really like? The endless hours, the tiny salary, the silent dinner with his wife who barely sees him, the loneliness, the exhaustion, the nights drowned in alcohol. And what does he actually earn? Does it even come close to compensating for the life he's losing? Today, we'll take a hard look at all of it. The work, the pressure, the social cage, and uncover what it really means to be a salaryman in modern Japan. So sit back and enjoy watching the other side of Japan, the one you'll never see as a spoiled tourist. Welcome to corporate Japan. So let's start at the beginning with the one thing that defines every Japanese salaryman's existence: the hours. It's 5:30 a.m. in Tokyo. The city hasn't woken up yet, but he has. Like millions of other salarymen, he's already on his feet, tie perfectly straight, eyes half closed. The alarm rings, the train waits, and another day begins inside Japan's silent machine. For many workers here, the day stretches from dawn until well past midnight, 12, sometimes 14 hours, not because it's required by law, but because it's what's expected. In Japan, hard work isn't just admired, it's sacred. Finishing early can be seen as disrespectful. Staying late, even when there's nothing left to do, means loyalty to the company, to the team, to a culture that equates exhaustion with virtue. The average employee in Japan works about 1,930 hours per year. In the United States, it's around 1,790. In Germany, barely 1,350, including part-time workers. Even if you count only full-timers, Japan still logs hundreds of extra hours. Yet Japan ranks dead last in productivity per hour among the G7 nations, proof that time and output aren't the same thing. There's even a word for dying from overwork, karoshi. It's not a metaphor. It's a government-recognized cause of death. Each year, hundreds officially die this way. Thousands more simply fade out quietly. Strokes, heart attacks, suicides. Officially, Japanese labor law limits overtime to 45 hours a month, but in practice, companies stretch those limits like an old rubber band. Overtime becomes invisible, meetings after meetings, unpaid hours politely filed under dedication. The result? A country where millions sleep less than 6 hours a night, where office lights never truly go dark, where loyalty and burnout are two sides of the same coin. And still, he keeps going, because slowing down isn't an option. In a system that rewards visibility over results, he knows the last one to leave wins, even if no one remembers why. Some nights, he stands on a quiet train platform, staring at his own reflection in the dark glass, wondering if he's moving forward or just circling the same track. He'll never ask that question out loud, but later, we will. We'll ask whether all these hours, all this sacrifice, actually buy him anything close to a life. For now, let's move from the how long to the why. Because behind these endless hours lies something even heavier, a pressure so deeply built into Japanese culture that escaping it feels almost impossible. In Japan, order isn't just a value, it's a blueprint. The same mindset that keeps trains on time also shapes every office in the country. It's not the company that demands perfection, it's society itself. Every worker feels watched, even when no one's looking, and that is the Achilles heel of every Japanese salaryman. Step inside any major company, and you'll find a perfectly balanced miniature of Japan itself. Rows of desks like rice fields, layers of ranks like a samurai clan. Here, hierarchy isn't a management style, it's a way of life. Once you join, you belong. For life. The system is called Shushin Koyo, lifetime employment. It was born in the post-war boom of the 1950s, when Japan rebuilt itself on loyalty and discipline, leaving mid-career unthinkable. Job hopping, which Westerners call networking, is seen here as betrayal. Promotions follow Nenko Juretsu, the seniority system. A 25-year-old genius will still bow to a 50-year-old who's been warming the same chair since 1996. When the boss speaks, you listen, even if he's wrong. Because in Japan, the nail that sticks out still gets hammered down. The glass ceiling here isn't invisible. It's printed right on the contract. Later, we'll see what this obedience is worth in numbers, the salary, the bonuses, the retirement pay. But before we count the yen, let's see how the salaryman spends what little freedom he has. After the clock hits midnight and the neon lights of Shinjuku call his name, Tokyo's nightlife is legendary. Bars stacked on top of bars, glowing alleys that never sleep. To the tourist, it's pure magic. To the salaryman, it's therapy. Every night, armies of white shirts march into izakayas, tiny pubs packed so tight you can smell the exhaustion. They laugh too loud, drink too fast, and apologize for things no one remembers. For a few hours, hierarchy dissolves in alcohol. The boss becomes Tanaka-san again, not Section Chief Tanaka. It's the only time they're allowed to be human. In Japan, alcohol isn't just a drink. It's a social lubricant, the only safe escape valve in a pressure-sealed culture. Refusing a drink can be seen as antisocial. Many don't even like it. They drink because it's the only way to fit in. By 1 a.m., Shinjuku's streets overflow with businessmen sleeping on benches, waiting for the first train at dawn. Not homeless, just hopelessly tired, because missing the last train is cheaper than taking a taxi. And honestly, it's part of the routine now. The irony, they work 16 hours a day to afford a life they never have time to live. Their free time is just another extension of work, bonding, networking, pretending. The Japanese even have a word for this ritual, Nomikai, mandatory drinking parties that strengthen team spirit. In reality, it's corporate performance art, a competition in endurance disguised as camaraderie. The next morning, they'll wake up hungover and do it all again, because that's what's expected. No one questions it. No one breaks the loop. Japan calls this gaman, enduring hardship with patience. But there's nothing noble about watching millions endure the same cycle, year after year, until they forget what joy even feels like. And yet, they keep smiling, because smiling is part of the uniform. So, if the uniform hides the pain, does at least the paycheck shine golden? The short answer, not really. According to Japan's Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, the average Japanese salaryman earns around 5 million yen per year, about $33,000 US. That's before taxes, insurance, and the obligatory company drinking nights. After deductions, many take home less than what an entry-level engineer in California makes in a single month. And yet, the cost of living in Tokyo is among the highest in the world. A single apartment can eat up half that income. Commuting, hundreds more each month. Add food, social obligations, and the occasional collapse into a convenience store bento, and you start to wonder how anyone survives.
収入があって実際それは十分かどうかとかっていう300ちょっとぐらい300東京の一人暮らしやっぱいや少ないとは思います東京の一人暮らしだったらちょっと少ないんじゃないですかね東京物価高いんで
But here's the cruel part. Many still believe they're lucky because loyalty is rewarded, not with money, but with stability. Once you get into a big company like Toshiba or Hitachi, you rarely get fired. You'll just slowly fade into the wallpaper. Promotions, mostly based on age and time served. Nenko Joretsu. Work hard or coast. You'll climb at the same pace. Your paycheck rises in neat, predictable steps, a system designed to keep everyone comfortable, not ambitious. And what about bonuses? They exist, but only if your company had a good quarter. If not, your summer bonus might barely cover your train pass. By 50, most salarymen make around 7 million yen, roughly $45,000 US. It's enough to raise a family, but not enough to buy freedom, because the hours, the pressure, the ritual, they never end.
だから65歳だけど月200時間ぐらい働いてるんだ。それは別にそのミッションが第一だから、それに必要なんだったら別にそれでいい。
So yes, Japan rebuilt its economy on discipline, loyalty, and collective effort. But the reward for that effort, a lifetime membership in a gilded cage. But if his paycheck buys no freedom, what does it buy at home? In the next chapter, we'll step inside the salaryman's apartment and meet the people waiting for him. Or not. It's past midnight in Tokyo. The trains have stopped. The streets are silent. And somewhere, a salaryman is finally turning his key. Inside, the apartment is small, tidy, efficient, just like the rest of Japan. A single lamp burns above the dining table. Dinner's cold, so is the conversation. For many couples here, marriage feels more like a management contract. Husbands spend their lives at work. Wives run the household like a company. They call it Ryosai Kenbo, good wife, wise mother, a relic from an era that never quite ended. Children often see their fathers on weekends, if at all. Some grow up believing dad lives at the office, and in a way, he does. There's a quiet tragedy in these homes, a sense of people sharing a roof, not a life. Surveys show that over half of married couples in Japan report little to no physical intimacy. Divorce rates rise slowly, but emotional distance grows faster than statistics can track. For many women, the husband's long hours mean stability, a steady income, a safe apartment, and a man too tired to argue. For the men, it's isolation disguised as duty. They come home to silence, then leave before dawn to avoid breaking it. This is the unspoken side of Japan's success. A society so perfectly organized that even love has a schedule. But not every salaryman accepts this fate. Some quietly rebel, moving out, living alone, or choosing not to marry at all. And that choice is reshaping Japan's future in ways no company handbook ever planned. So in the next chapter, we'll step outside the apartment and look at what happens when the system starts to crack, when an entire generation decides to stop playing by the rules. Not every story in corporate Japan ends in silence. Some cracks are finally starting to show, and through them, light gets in. Younger generations are quietly rewriting the rules. They value time more than overtime, freedom more than formality. They've seen their fathers burn out, and they don't want to be next. Remote work, flexible hours, side hustles, words that once sounded rebellious, are slowly becoming part of everyday conversation. Even some companies, yes, even the giants, are beginning to change. Performance over presence, results over rituals. It's not a revolution, but an evolution. Still, the old guard remains strong. The pressure to conform is stubborn, like a ghost that haunts every new generation. The idea of gaman, enduring with a smile, is hard to kill when it's written into your DNA. But for the first time, a small but growing number of Japanese workers are daring to choose happiness over hierarchy, to leave the company, to travel, to simply live. Maybe that's what real progress looks like, not quitting Japan's system overnight, but slowly, patiently learning to say no. Because change here doesn't come in waves. It comes one salary man at a time. Japan runs like a dream. The trains, the order, the silence. Everything works. But perfection always comes with a price. For generations, that price has been paid in hours, in health, in lives, quietly fading behind office windows. The salaryman became the symbol of Japan's discipline, but also of its pain. He built an empire of efficiency and lost himself in the process. And yet, somehow, that same spirit, the loyalty, the endurance, the grace, is what still makes Japan extraordinary. A nation that never stops moving, even when it hurts. Maybe, in the end, The lesson isn't that Japan's system is broken, but that no system should cost you your soul. So if you ever find yourself in Tokyo, rushing through Shinjuku Station among a sea of black suits, slow down, look around. Every face you see is fighting a quiet battle you'll never notice. And somewhere in that crowd, one man might finally be walking a different path, not to work, but home. This is Japan, beautiful, relentless, and still learning what it means to live. So, will the Japanese salaryman ever disappear? Maybe one day, and maybe that's not such a bad thing. He's a rare species now, forged in loyalty, fueled by caffeine, and kept alive mostly by habit. However, if his extinction means shorter hours, more freedom, and a little more laughter echoing through Tokyo's streets, then perhaps it's time to let this species rest. Because Japan deserves more than obedience. It deserves joy. Would you miss the classic Japanese salaryman? Comment your thoughts below and tell me which truth we should roast next.
Like butterflies in water, can't keep moving